girl, to Makazai. Everybody says to Makazai. Why don't you baby hear them cry? Why?
When you think of Goan fried fish, visions of fish that are fried in a red crispy masala come to mind. And this recipe for Pomfret RECHEAD or Pomfret Recheado does not disappoint. Hi everyone, I'm Karen Ahmed, and the word Recheado is actually derived from the Portuguese word Recheio, which means stuffed. Now this recipe is typically made by stuffing a delicious masala paste into the cavity of a fish. But this masala is so delicious that you can also add it to fillets as well as use it in a stir fry for shrimp or any other seafood. This spice blend is made from dried chilies, spices, fried onions and vinegar. As you must know, I'm a member of the traditional Goan Foodies, which is a Facebook group where we share lots of authentic Goan recipes. Before I decided on the perfect recipe to share with you, I had a discussion with our members and took a lot of their suggestions to heart. I know my mother has a recipe somewhere for this Rechead masala, but I couldn't find it, so I had to rely very heavily on our members as well as my memory of its taste. I can't remember if my mom used fried onions in this recipe, but it does seem to make a lot of sense. Typically, Goan vinegar is used in this recipe, but it's not easy to find outside of Goa. I like to use a combination of coconut vinegar and red wine vinegar. I'm using 30 red Kashmiri chilies in this recipe. Now this may seem a lot, but Kashmiri chilies are not very spicy and they have a beautiful red color. Members on the forum debated about whether the Kashmiri chili should be cleaned or not. A lot of them use the Kashmiri chilies whole as it's a bit more spicier. I'm also going to crumble 2 or 3 tablespoons of jaggery. Now jaggery is sugar in its raw form. I'm also going to slice a 3-inch piece of ginger, and I'm just going to roughly chop 16 cloves of garlic. I'm going to start to process all of the dry ingredients now, and the first thing that's going to go in are the 30 chilies that I cleaned and deseeded. I'm also going to add 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds, 2 teaspoons of black peppercorns, 20 cloves. I've got 3-inch sticks of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of turmeric and 3 tablespoons of jaggery. I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of coarse salt, and I'm going to process this till it's a nice fine powder. Next, we're going to add all of the wet ingredients. The first thing that's going to go in is the garlic and the ginger that I've roughly chopped, together with 1 teaspoon of tamarind paste. Now I've taken tamarind paste and I just soaked it in a couple of tablespoons of hot water. Make sure there aren't any seeds in your tamarind paste because this is going to cause havoc with your blades. I'm going to add fried onions, half of the vinegar, and I'm going to blend this till a smooth paste. And then I'm going to add the other half of the vinegar and I'm going to continue to blend it. You can store this in a bottle for up to a month in the refrigerator. Because of the vinegar in the paste, this will keep for a long time. I've got some beautiful white pomfret here. My fishmonger has already cleaned it for me, and I'm just going to increase the slit in its side as well as trim off the gills and the fins. I'm going to leave the tail intact as it looks really pretty. I've already washed this fish and I've added some salt and lemon juice, and I've just let it sit aside for about 10 minutes. And now we're going to stuff the fish. I'm going to take some of the masala and I'm going to add it into the cavity. Now if you're wondering why I'm using 2 spoons, it's because I don't want to contaminate the rest of the masala. I'm also going to add some of the masala on both sides of the fish, and I'm going to stuff it with a little bit extra fried onions and leave them aside for at least half an hour to marinate. Next, I'm going to dredge my fish in some semolina. Semolina is going to make the fish really nice and crispy. Some people prefer to use regular flour and some people don't use anything at all. They just rely on the heat of the oil to crisp up the fish. My oil has heated up and I'm going to fry my fish on one side, and when the semolina is nice and golden brown, I'm going to flip it over on the other side. If there's parts of the fish that haven't quite touched the oil, just press down with your spatula, but be careful not to overcook the fish. If you prefer, you can lightly saute it and finish it off in the oven. Before you fry your second fish, it's a really good idea to wipe down your frying pan and add fresh oil. I really hope you enjoyed this recipe for Recheado pomfret. Do leave me a note and tell me what you think. And if you want to try some of my other Goan recipes, I have a fabulous recipe here for my chicken vindaloo as well as my chicken kafrial. Both of those are delicious and spicy. Thank you so much for joining me on Cravings Food Adventures. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel. I have new videos every Friday. So make sure that you're there and the first to see them. Until I see you again, do take care. Bye.
Girl, to Makazai. Everybody says to Makazai. Why don't you, baby, hear them cry?